All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're playing detective. We are cracking the case on two of the most frustrating skin issues out there, cystic and hormonal acne. We're going to figure out what makes them tick and, more importantly, what we can do about them.
You know the ones I'm talking about, right? Those deep, painful breakouts that seem to pop up out of nowhere and just refuse to leave. It is so frustrating, especially when you feel like you're doing everything right for your skin. It can honestly feel like a losing battle. Well, it turns out there are usually two main culprits behind this kind of trouble. So let's put on our detective hats and investigate our two prime suspects, cystic acne and hormonal acne.
Okay, let the investigation begin. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to really understand what makes each of these unique. Because here's the thing, once you know exactly what you're up against, you can finally find the right strategy to fight back. So let's bring in our first suspect, cystic acne. Now, this one has a reputation for being the most severe, the most painful type of acne. So let's take a really close look at its profile.
So what exactly is it? Well, this is not your average, everyday pimple. Cystic acne happens way down deep, beneath the surface of your skin. It's when a hair follicle gets totally clogged up with oil and dead skin cells, and that blockage becomes a super painful, inflamed cyst.
So how can we identify this thing? Well, there are a few key clues. We're talking big, sore bumps that are really red and swollen, and unfortunately, this is the type that often leaves scars behind. Another huge clue is the location. It doesn't just show up on your face. It can appear on your back, chest, and shoulders too. And the cause? It's usually a perfect storm of bacteria, way too much oil production, and sometimes it's just in your DNA. All right, time to look at suspect number 2, hormonal acne. The name kind of gives the whole game away, doesn't it? This one is all about what's going on inside your body. Yup, hormonal acne is triggered by the natural ups and downs of your hormones. This is exactly why it's so common for women to get breakouts right around their period or during pregnancy, or if they're dealing with something like PCOS. Your hormones are on a roller coaster, and your skin is just along for the ride. And the clues for this one are classic. The biggest giveaway is the location. We're talking breakouts along the jawline, the chin, and lower cheeks, that classic hormonal beard area. And they often show up like clockwork with your cycle. Now, while hormones are the main driver, other things like stress and diet can absolutely pour fuel on the fire. Okay, so we've profiled our two main suspects. Now it's time for the big reveal, the side-by-side lineup. This is where we're going to see the differences crystal clear. So let's ask the most important question. When you put these two next to each other, what are the dead giveaways that tell them apart? Okay, check this out. For cystic acne, the cause is often external, things like bacteria and clogged pores. But for hormonal acne, the cause is internal. It's those hormonal shifts. And look at the location. That's a huge tell. Cystic can be all over, but hormonal acne really loves that lower face area. And this all leads to totally different treatment plans. With cystic acne, you might need antibiotics to fight the infection. With hormonal acne, you might look at things like birth control to get to the root of the problem. But hang on, just when you think you've got it all figured out, there's a plot twist. It's a question that trips up so many people. Can these two cases actually be connected? Could your cystic acne actually be hormonal? And the answer is a big, definite yes. This is the real aha moment. Think of it like this. Your hormones are the ones that start the trouble. When they fluctuate, they can tell your oil glands to go into overdrive. All that extra oil creates the perfect environment deep in your pores for bacteria to have a party and for a painful cyst to form. So yes, hormones can absolutely be the trigger for your cystic breakouts. The two can be totally linked. So, now that we've cracked that part of the case, it's time to figure out what to do next. Let's talk about the action plan. Because you've got to match your strategy to the right culprit. When you're dealing with straight-up cystic acne, you often have to bring out the big guns. You might start with powerful topicals like retinoids to really get in there and unclog pores, but a lot of the time, the real breakthrough comes from oral medications prescribed by a doctor, like antibiotics to kill the bacteria from the inside out. And for really tough cases, there are even in-office procedures that can give you relief. Now, for hormonal acne, the action plan looks a little different. Here, the number one goal is often to regulate the hormones themselves with things like oral contraceptives. You're going to the source. Topicals are definitely still helpful for managing the breakouts you can see, but this is where lifestyle changes can make a huge difference. Managing stress and watching your diet can really help keep those hormonal spikes in check. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important takeaway from this whole investigation. If your acne just won't go away, if it's painful, and especially if it's starting to affect your confidence and how you feel, please stop trying to solve the case on your own. It is time to see a dermatologist.
Because at the end of the day, a dermatologist is the lead detective who can officially close this case for you. They can give you a real diagnosis and figure out if you're dealing with cystic, hormonal, or even a mix of both. They'll create a treatment plan that is built just for you. So the real question now is, are you ready to finally get the right help and take back control of your skin?